how many places will you keep saying that this is occupied, that is occupied? How are you going to say it? Because what you said once is that there are 4,000 sites.
Actually, I said 40,000.
40,000.
And that figure could have been exaggerated. But what did I say? We spoke of one wasn't acceptable. We spoke of 3, it wasn't acceptable. I said, then if negotiation has no room here, then why will I limit the scope of my claim? Mangna hai to sara mang lo abhi. What is the point?
Ki kuch to milega.
Exactly. And not just that. Kuch to milega is a different issue. At the very least, the history of each of these places needs to come out. People should know Ram Janmabhoomi was not isolated. People should know Kashi was not isolated. And people should know this was not exactly a northern-centric phenomenon. Across the board.
Tipu.
100%. Tipu and so many places. I think in Warangal, so many temples. Shaktipeethas are there. Therefore,
Kashmir.
What exactly? And Kashmir is also in the 90s, for God's sakes. Not just, you're not talking about the medieval ages. So what these proceedings do is to give you an opportunity to present evidence, which unfortunately haven't found their way into textbooks. It will generate a discourse. Hopefully it should trigger introspection. I have a slightly mixed position on the question of jati, but nevertheless, if the history of so-called caste and its, let's say, related behavior have constantly found reference in our public discourse and, let's say, in our textbooks and every other place, and there are policies to that particular effect which are trying to redress a certain grievance, tell me, why does the logic of that position change in the context of religion? Answer the question. The position is repair. It's reparative justice. It's not retributive justice, right? It is to ameliorate certain social, let's say, social behavioral patterns. Now, how much of it is based on, let's say, actual history? That's a different question altogether. But nevertheless, the Indian state seems to have taken that position for granted. Why does it want to take a different position in the context of inter-community relations when it doesn't have a problem taking that position in intra-community relations? So, divide the Hindu and deprive the Hindu of his opportunity to reclaim his sites as well? That can't be the strategy. So you constantly talk about jati, caste, reservation, keep us divided. And when it comes to the other side, secularism will prevail. Ye thodi ho sakta hai. Therefore, my position is very clear. The Indian state, by now, should have constituted a commission for truth, reclamation and reconciliation, which it has not had the courage of its conviction to do in all these years, even now. Do it. Set out a clear policy. Ask yourself, here's the simple thing. Before the farm laws were asked to be stayed or not implemented by the Supreme Court, the question that was put to the government was, did you speak with these parties, the affected parties? Did you undertake a wide-ranging consultation? Now here's the question. Before the Places of Worship Act was brought into effect, I think in 1991, how many affected parties on both sides were consulted? Was a baseline study undertaken to find out how many such existing disputes are pending in courts, or there are existing claims even outside of courts? As long as you've not done that study, it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Do subscribe to the ANI Clips channel to get shorter versions of this podcast. Click here to watch the full episode.